welcome to the opening ceremonies of the Games of the 23rd Olympia at Los Angeles.
I grew up in Mexico City. For my parents, sports were key. But for my parents, the problem was that sports were a game, like you play a sport. What they never understood was that for me, sports were my life. I started swimming at a very young age, and my grandma was the one that took me to all of my swim meets. She was my inspiration. She was the one that showed me my dream. In 1984, before the Los Angeles Olympic Games, my parents went on a trip to LA and they brought me back the little mascot of the Olympic Games. It was like a little stuffed eagle, and I was so mad. Like about a month later, my grandma came in and she was like, hey, we're gonna watch the opening ceremony of the Olympic Games. And I was like, whatever. The opening ceremony started and the Parade of the Nations was led by that eagle.
Come on out here. Come on out. Come on out, Salmon.
We both know about seeing the eagle, right?
Okay, easy.
So she sat me down and she started explaining what the Olympic Games were. And I remember she said, look, these guys, they've trained their whole lives to compete here for 20 seconds.
Streaking away from the field, it's going to be gold for Jamaica. That is superb. It's a new.
He's going to break the world record. Gold medal #1 for Michael Phelps.
Ski smart, stay out of trouble, and just be strong at the end.
When the Olympic Games were over, I remember my uncle asking me, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I said, I want to be an Olympian. My grandma was the one that held the keys to the dream. She was the one that inspired everything I did. And when I was about 14 years of age, she had a stroke. She was dying, and I held her hand and I said, please don't go. Please fight for your life. But she didn't make it. She passed away that afternoon, and it was as if my childhood dream had died on the same day that I lost my best friend. The boy that wanted to go to the Olympic Games died a little bit that day, but the dream lived inside my heart. About 30 years later, I was at a reunion with my high school friends, and they started making fun of people that posted pictures of themselves running and on Facebook, right? And like, oh, I just ran 10 miles or I just ran 10 kilometers. And so I started getting pretty mad at them, and I said, well, hey, like we ran 10 kilometers. It's pretty cool. The conversation started getting very heated, and one of them said, look, Herman, I get it. You're always telling us to get out of our comfort zones. But in reality, you've never gone out of your comfort zone. You did an Ironman, that's pretty tough. Kudos to you. But then you've done 18 of them. You don't do anything different. So you find a very uncomfortable comfort zone, and then you just do the same thing over and over again. He shook me. And then one of my other friends looked at me and he said, tomorrow, we'll send you an article. Tell me what you think. And the next day, he sent me an article that talked about cross-country skiing. But the hard part is that I live here in McAllen, so there's no way you can train on snow here. While I was here, I used roller skis. So the roller ski is a way that athletes use to train in the summer. I started Googling how to roller ski, and YouTube taught me how to roller ski. So I booked a bunch of trips of the places where I wanted to go ski, where I wanted to race, where I wanted to train. And at the beginning, I learned the hardest lesson, that snow melts. And so I got to some of these places having spent the little money that I had just to find out that there was no more snow on the ground. But the hardest point in the whole journey happened in Armenia. We did a race in Armenia. We were certain that we were going to make it. We were very close, but we didn't make it in Armenia. So we decided to do a race in Iceland. It was the last weekend. We had no more races after that. It was like, that was the deadline to qualify for the Olympic Games. We were flying into Munich, and then from Munich, we were flying to Reykjavik for the last 2 races. So they called me from the airport in Armenia, and they said, so do you have your plane ticket to Iceland? And I didn't have it. I didn't have money. I landed in Munich, and you know how when you land, you turn on your phone, like you turn off airplane mode, right? And the minute that I turned airplane mode off, I only had one notification, and it was from Peter. And the message read, hey bro, have you checked the price of a one-way ticket? I had $1 more in my bank account than the price of a one-way ticket to Iceland. For me, my only way back was making it to the Olympic Games. Because I knew the moment that I made the call, I just qualified for the Olympic Games, there would be a line of people wanting to pay for my ticket back. Then the opening ceremony was super cold, so I got super sick. When I was laying in bed with this cold and this headache and this fever, I closed my eyes. There I decided, I was like, you know what? All of my day is going to be dedicated to my kids, my wife, and my grandma. When I went out into the track, it was a 4-loop, 15-kilometer race. And I decided that I was going to ski each one of the 4 laps with a secret companion. But what I thought was like, I'm going to ski the first lap with my daughter Sophie. I'm going to ski the second lap with my son Herman. I'm going to ski the 3rd lap with my daughter Lucy, and the 4th lap with my grandmother. And when I was coming to the finish line, I remember the only thing that I thought that I said when I started skiing with that fly was like, thank you God, thank you for this moment, thank you. And I just wish I could do something so that it would never end, that I could remember this forever. And then it happened. The 5 of them were there waiting for me, and they picked me up, and I had my dream, a moment that will be remembered forever.
La satisfacción total con un apellido que alguna vez fue símbolo de hacer trampa en una maratón.
No me recuerdes eso, Luis, estaba pensando otra cosa y bueno.
Pues este hombre no, este viene a dignificar justamente.
Menos de 1 hora va a ser. Seguramente lo que quiere.
Acompasado porque él quisiera que no se acabara nunca esa recta final. Que ahí lo cruza.
Gracias a la labor del equipo peruano también que ayudó mucho a Germán.
Ahí están justamente.
Y se arma la fiesta, la pachanga.
De los últimos en salir vienen y lo reconocen.